The body has arrived, not as a confession, not as a failure, but as something that has been measured before it was heard. The archive does not quiet the voice. It follows the voice back to where it was before the body gave it warmth. There was a mark before the voice, a number, a line on a chart, a column with entries and blanks, a score reported in the morning from the device that counts what the night held, a time, logged, visible, fixed, at which a message was sent, or not sent, or received without reply, a box checked, a box that remained unchecked. These were cold when they arrived. The scale on the wall did not speak. It held a number at the level the body pressed down to. The number was not a judgment. It was the weight of the body against the resistance of the spring, expressed as a position on a printed line. The number remained at its position after the body stepped away. It did not follow. It did not revise. It held what it had held and stayed where it was. The chart on the desk did not speak. It held columns, dates running left to right across the top, categories running down the left side. In the cells where columns and categories met, there were marks, or there were not. The filled cells were filled. The empty cells remained empty. The chart did not prefer one to the other. It only held a record of what had been placed in it. The mark did not accuse. It remained where it had been placed. The number on the scale was a number. The empty cell in the chart was an absence of a mark. The time on the log was a time. The score from the device was a value between other possible values. None of these required a response. None of them were asking. They were placed in the world and remained there at the temperature the room held. The body encountered the mark and began to read it. This is the second thing. The first thing was the mark itself, cold, placed, still. The second thing was the body finding the mark and doing something the mark did not request, measuring itself against it. The body looked at the number and looked at the number from the day before. The difference between them was small, smaller than what the body could feel from the inside. But the difference was there, and the body registered it, not in the hands, not in the skin, at a depth where the body keeps its running account of what it has done and what it has not done and what the distance between those two things is. The body looked at the empty cells and counted them. Not once, several times across different sittings at different hours. The body returned to the chart and ran the count again. The number of filled cells was the same each time. The number of empty cells was the same each time. But the body returned anyway, as if the count might change, as if the cells might fill themselves in the intervals between one looking and the next. The body began to carry the scale, not in the hands. The scale stayed where it was, but the body carried the number the scale had given it, carried it through the rest of the morning, into the afternoon, into the rooms that had nothing to do with scales. In the kitchen, the body consulted the number. At the desk, the body consulted the number. In the mirror, the body placed the number alongside what the mirror returned. The scale had not moved. The number had. It had left the scale and entered the body's ongoing account, where it stayed available for consultation at any hour, on any surface, in any room. This is what the body learned. The scale was not the boundary of the measurement. The scale was where the measurement began. The boundary was wherever the body stopped consulting the number. That boundary moved constantly. It was never at the scale. It was somewhere ahead, somewhere the body had not yet reached, where the number might finally be put down. The body had not put it down. It carried it into the evening. It carried it toward the bed. The ceiling of the room held nothing. The ceiling was the temperature the room held, a surface receiving the slow convection of the air below it, neither adding to nor taking from what the body had carried in. The ceiling did not know about the number. The ceiling held paint, and beneath the paint plaster, and beneath the plaster, the structure of the room. And none of these held a record of what the body had read from the scale that morning. The ceiling was clean of it. The body looked at the ceiling and still held the number. The pillow held the heat of the body's head. A pillow takes the temperature of what presses into it and returns it slowly, the fibers inside it conducting warmth at the rate the material allows. The body's head is warm. The brain inside it is warm, producing heat as a consequence of what it does. The blood circulating through it, carrying that heat to the surface, where it can be given to the air. The pillow received some of that warmth and held it. The pillow did not hold the measurement. The body held the measurement. The body was inside the pillow's warmth. The measurement was inside the body. The pillow knew only the temperature of what it held. Breath enters, breath leaves. Between breaths, the air holds its density. At some point, the measurement became warm. This is the third thing, and it is the thing that happens without announcement. The mark was cold when it arrived. The number was cold on the scale. The empty cell was cold in the chart. The log was cold on the screen. These things have no temperature of their own. They are ink or light or a position on a spring. They do not generate heat. But the body is warm. The body holds its temperature through continuous adjustment. The vessels near the skin narrowing or widening. The metabolism producing heat as a consequence of every cell doing what cells do. The breath moving warm air through the passages that carry it. This warmth is not chosen. It is the body's condition. It is what the body is doing at every moment, including the moments when it is reading a number on a scale, or counting empty cells in a chart, or reviewing a log of the day's completed and uncompleted things. The mark passed through the warm body. The mark did not speak at first. The body gave it warmth and mistook the warmth for a voice. This is how it happens. The number enters the body's ongoing account. Cold, neutral, a position on a line. The body carries it. The body is warm. The warmth moves through everything the body holds. The number held in the body's account receives some of that warmth, and at a certain depth, in a certain hour, often late, often when the room has gone quiet and the other sounds have withdrawn. The warmth reaches the number, and the number begins to sound like something. Not like a number anymore, like a conclusion, like a verdict that has been building in the background, waiting for the room to go quiet enough to be heard. The chest held it. The chest is warm. The organs inside it are warm. The blood moving through it is warm. The breath entering and leaving. It is warm before it becomes the cooler air the lungs release. When the body lies down in the evening and the external sounds withdraw, and the body's attention no longer has the day to distribute itself across, What remains in the chest can be felt more clearly, not because it has grown, because the room grew quiet enough to receive it. The warmth in the chest is the body's warmth, but the voice the body hears in that warmth is not the body's voice. It is the number returned as sound. Where did the number come from? Not from inside the body. The body did not produce the scale. The body did not design the chart or establish the categories down its left side or decide which cells should be filled and which should remain empty. The body did not create the log or determine the format of the sleep score or set the range within which a score is considered sufficient. These came from outside. The scale was built to a standard, a range of values considered normal, a range considered outside normal, a line at which the body is understood to be one kind of body or another. The chart was designed by someone with a purpose, a format that makes certain things visible and certain things invisible, that counts some activities and does not count others, that defines completion in a particular way that other definitions would not produce. The sleep score was designed to report one reading of the night, not the whole night, not the temperature of the air the body breathed, or the small adjustments the heart made across the hours, or the specific texture of the half-sleep at the edge of morning when the mind is not quite in either place. The score reported what the device's sensors could receive from the body's surface, processed through the categories the score's designers had established for converting surface readings into a number. The number was a translation from a specific source. The device, the sensor, the categories built into the scoring method, into a form the body could read. The voice in the chest did not come from the chest. It came from the scale standard, the chart's categories, the log's format, the device's method, each of them built by someone, somewhere, for a purpose, each of them arriving at the body already completed, already decided, already carrying the values that would determine how the body was to be read. The body received the measurement. The body gave it warmth. The warmth sounded like a voice. The voice sounded like the body's own conclusion about itself. But the conclusion had been built into the measurement before the body ever stepped onto the scale. The throat held the measurement without knowing it had arrived there. The throat is a passage, air moving through it in both directions, the structures of it narrowing and widening to produce speech when speech is produced, remaining open and undemanding when no speech is being produced. In the quiet of a room at night, the throat does not ask to be attended to. It is doing what it does, remaining open, allowing breath to pass, holding the temperature the body maintains at that depth. But the measurement had arrived there too, not as a physical presence. No chart had entered the throat. No scale had been placed in the passage. But the body, carrying the measurement, carries it everywhere the body goes, into the chest, into the throat, into the space behind the eyes where the day's account accumulates and resists the instruction to set itself down. The measurement was in the throat. The throat was warm. The warmth had no source outside the body, but the voice the body heard in it had not begun there. The voice may remain tonight. The archive is not asking it to leave. It is not suggesting that the measurement can be returned to the scale, or that the number can be separated from the warmth the body gave it, or that the chart's empty cells can be felt as empty rather than as evidence. These things take longer than a night. What can happen tonight is smaller. The voice is in the chest. The chest is warm. The warmth is the body's own warmth. The warmth the body produces as a consequence of existing, of maintaining the temperature it maintains, of doing what the body does at every hour, including this one. The warmth belongs to the body. The voice that sounds like judgment, the voice that knows the number on the scale and the count of the empty cells in the sleep score and the log of the uncompleted things. That voice arrived from outside. It arrived as a mark cold, placed in a standard that was built before the body encountered it. The body gave it warmth. The body carried it. The body held it in the chest until it sounded like something the body had said about itself. But a body did not say it. The mark did not speak at first. The body gave it warmth and mistook the warmth for a voice. Breath enters, breath leaves. Between breaths, the air holds its density. The room is at its temperature. The air in the room holds the temperature the night outside has set, modified by the walls that slow the exchange, and the warmth the body has been giving to the air in its immediate vicinity since it lay down. The body and the room are in the slow exchange that continues through every hour of rest. The body giving heat to the air closest to it, the air returning a fraction, the net exchange continuing at the rate the difference between them requires. The scale is in the other room. It holds no number right now. It is at the room's temperature. The spring inside it is at rest. The printed line on its face is the same line it has always been. A range of positions equally available, not preferring one to another. The scale is not waiting for the morning. The scale does not wait. It is an object at rest in a room, doing nothing until something presses against it. The chart is on the desk. The filled cells are filled. The empty cells are empty. The chart does not review itself in the night. The categories down its left side do not consult each other. The blank cells do not accumulate weight in the dark. The chart is paper with marks at the temperature of the room, unchanged since it was last touched. The log is on the screen. The screen is dark. The entries are in the log at the positions they were placed. The timestamp of the last entry is the timestamp of the last entry. It does not grow later as the night continues. The log is not running. It is a record at rest, doing what records do when no one is adding to them, holding what they hold. The measurements are where they were placed. They are cold again, or they are at the temperature of the rooms that hold them. They are not in the chest. They were carried there by the body, and the carrying is what gave them warmth, and the warmth is what gave them the sound of a voice. But the measurements themselves have not moved. They are in their rooms, on their surfaces, in their formats at rest. The voice is in the chest. The chest is warm. The warmth is the body's. The voice is not. The body can hold its own warmth tonight without being required to warm what was never the body's to carry. The mark was placed from outside. It entered as a number, a line, a score, a column of cells. It was cold when it arrived. The body gave it heat. The heat made it sound like something the body had decided, but the decision had been built into the mark before the mark arrived. The body inherited the conclusion without inheriting the authority to change it. The voice in the chest is warm because the chest is warm. It is not the body's verdict. It is a measurement returned from the cold rooms, where measurements rest when the body has put them down, which is what the body is permitted to do tonight. The scale is in the other room. The chart is on the desk. The log is at rest. The body is here, warm, at its own temperature, doing what the body does when it has been given the interval it needs. The warmth in the chest is the body's. The voice was never the body's to keep. The archive remains.